Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Workforce Wellbeing team, we would like to kick off our mindfulness sessions with the why, what, and how of mindfulness. These workshops are part of our Employee Thrive program, where we have taken some time to shed a light on mental health.
Hi, good morning. I'm Deepa. I hope you can see me and hear me well. Let me get my slides. Okay. Let me start by relating how I discovered mindfulness myself. In Sri Lanka, it is very difficult to get into a government university unless you have got very high marks. Obviously, I failed my first attempt, just managed to pass the second attempt, but that was not sufficient to start get an opportunity to join the university. I started my life as a clerk in a shop, writing bills for about $12 a month. And during this time, I was trying to find out what really contributed to my examination failure. Then I could figure out that there were 5 possible predominant reasons that prevented me being successful in my studies. Procrastination was number 1, I think, in that. Rumination and lack of focus was another. And I used to get angry very often. Aversion was another reason. And of course, indulgence of all the pleasurable things that I could lay my hands on. And doubt or lack of self-confidence. In my search to find a way out of these 5, I came across what is now known as mindfulness, and that was late 1970s or early 80s. Later, when I started working, I realized these 5 are relevant even in the work life, but similarly, that mindfulness itself is useful. Then I kept practicing and developing this practice of mindfulness throughout my career, from the time that I started as a sales clerk until now. And probably you read my bio. I was the managing director of Aviva, which became AIA in Sri Lanka. I still serve on the board. Now, I would like to take one aspect of these things and relate it to the life that you lead. It is how we get stressed up and how mindfulness can help you to move out of that. I'm sure that either you or people that is known to you who have had this indication that they might get coronavirus, and that little news like your PCR positive, and then that creates a series of negative mental images, getting sick and having to go to hospital to put on a ventilator, so on and so forth. Your mind creates this horror movie. It is the same ability that sometimes we use to create very pleasant movies. For example, when you are in love, when you are in a happy mood, we create a lot of beautiful movies. And we are very good in directing these, so good. We forget that we are the directors of these movies, and we become spectators. And we cry when we create horror movies. We are frightened when you create horror movies. This simple process of generating pictures, starting from a thought, is very interesting. if you were to follow. I don't know whether you have had any experience of being chased by a dog. If it was so, you were scared. Were you scared of the dog or the thought that the dog would bite you? You know, that's how the fear comes. Now this is different, and we will keep thinking. If you were to pass the same place again, you will think, will that dog come again? You know, that kind of thing. But animals apparently do not have that ability to connect the past to the present and project it to the future. If you have seen how a tiger would chase deer who were grazing a while ago, the deer would run for its life. And if it survives, it gets out of the range of the tiger, the deer will get back to eating. It will not think, will this tiger come again? Can I put a fence there? Nothing, it gets back. But to you and I, we human beings, we cannot do that. We will think, oh, what will happen? What will happen if this happens, that happens? This is similar when we are faced with challenges. When there's a challenge, what do you mean by a challenge? Challenge is a situation where the resources you have is not sufficient to meet the demand. If it is money, you want $1,000, but you have only $200. So what is needed is more than what you have. You have to reach somewhere. You have only 20 minutes, but you need 1 hour to go there. So what is needed is more than what you have. You want to finish a project. Either your knowledge is limited or the resources are limited. These are the kind of situations where you feel small than the challenge. Then what happens, we create, using that ability, we create some horror stories. We not only create, we keep on repeating and watching it over and over again, what we call rumination. This really exacerbates the feeling, my God, I cannot manage that. This is how we end up feeling stressed. First is psychological, and after that, of course, it becomes physiological as well. So can you break this cycle? Isn't it? If you can break this cycle and become aware that, well, I'm the director of this movie, so I shouldn't be scared. You know, you break, you know, it's like that. Now, for example, say when you are angry, if you don't realize that you are angry, you are moved by anger. But if you say, I know I have, don't talk to me, I'm really angry. Right? It means you are aware that you are angry. Then you are a different person than the person who is driven by anger. So when we have enormous problems that we think we cannot handle, all what we need to do is drop it for a while and regain composure. That's what we do with heavy bags, isn't it? We put it aside for a while and pick it up. So this is a very useful skill that we need to develop. It's like a safety valve in machines. So sorry, something went wrong. You remember that the students who got trapped in that underground cave in Thailand, these are the boys who are practicing mindfulness. So they were not frightened of the future, of the challenges that they were having. So this is possible if you can learn the principle that you can have only one thought at a time. Every time a thought comes, and if you observe that, then it's a different thought. You get angry and you become aware that you are angry, then it's a different thought. You're a different person. So this is the basic of mindfulness. In mindfulness, why I call it a skill, is all of us have this ability to become aware. by constant practice, if you can improve on this ability to become aware, then we can use it as a skill to manage ourselves, not to control, but to manage, to live this moment. So you need to do only two things. Bring your attention to this moment and observe what's going on without getting involved. You bring your attention to this moment and observe without getting involved. What do you mean by without getting involved? Because traditionally, habitually, we tend to like or dislike. If you like something, we lose perspective. We don't see anything negative in that. We get attracted. We want more of it. If you don't like, we don't see any good in that. We want to throw that away. This is the constant struggle. And then that doesn't happen now. It always linked to the future or it linked to the past. So all of us have this ability, right? Sometimes we become aware of things having done. On your way back home, you realized, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. Or when you are about to do something, you might realize, oh, I shouldn't do that. Or halfway through, you might realize, that's this ability. So by constant practice, if you can develop this ability to a skill level, then you create that state of mind where you can have that space, that little space, so that you can drop that heavy luggage and regain composure. So I said this is a skill. Obviously, it came from Buddhist teachings, and there was a lot of scientific experiments that was done to find out how this works and affects. So you can go to internet and read a lot about it. But let's learn this skill a little bit. So what I will do is, in the next few minutes, I'll guide you to start this practice from where you are. Whether you are at your work desk or whether you are working from home, it doesn't matter. Sit comfortably with your back straight. That's very important, back straight, so that you are alert, but you are not stiff. You are relaxed. You gently close your eyes and pay attention to all the sounds that you can hear. You might hear little sounds, big sounds, sounds that are near, sounds that are far. Try to observe the sounds. Don't try to identify what they are. Just notice that they appear and then disappear. Intensity changes. And you can listen only to a sound that is present at this moment. You cannot listen sound that was, and you cannot hear sound that is yet to come. So whenever you have a little free time, try to pay attention to sounds. It can be the busy city streets where you will sit and have a sip of coffee. For a while, try to listen to the sounds that are around and see how they go, like watching traffic that moves in front of you. And sometimes you will be able to notice the silence in between the sounds. And see whether you can focus your attention to the silence. Now that you find a little bit of silence, let's understand what really happens with your body right now. Pay attention to the way that you are seated, your posture. Start from your feet. What do you feel? If you're wearing shoes, how do you feel inside the shoe? What points of your soul touches the inner sole of the shoe or the floor? What are the sensations that you can notice there? Heat, tension, pressure. Just notice it and ask your feet to relax. Take your attention a little bit above the calf muscle area. What are the sensations? Is it equal on both legs or different in each leg? Notice the sensations. What do you feel? Do you feel like moving? Just see if it helps. And ask the legs to relax. The knee area. Come along the thighs. How do they touch your chair? How does the pressure gets distributed? The buttocks, the waist area. What are the sensations? I'm doing this a bit fast for you just to get the technique right. And look at where your hands are. What do you feel inside your palms? What are the sensations along the lower arm, the elbow, upper arm, shoulder, all the way to the neck, and both hands? Ask your hands to relax. Take your attention back to your waist area. Come along the trunk. Notice any sensations on your back. How do you feel on the back muscles? Ask them to relax. If you feel it helps, straighten your back a little bit and see if it's more comfortable. You might notice rising and falling of the tummy and the chest area. The neck, relax your trunk completely. Back of your head, all the way to the crown. Notice the sensations there. From the front of your neck, along the chin. Look at the face muscles. Bring a gentle smile to your face. Slowly take your attention all the way to the top of your head. And ask your whole body to relax. If any place of your body demands your attention, by way of a itch, by way of a pull, by way of pressure, in your mind, go to that place and ask that place to relax gently. Feel this moment of relaxation And keep observing the sensations that come to prominence. At one moment it can be from your leg, another moment it can be your back, doesn't matter. Just the way we were watching sounds, keep observing the sensations of your body as they appear. Try to notice whether they are changing or constant. And feel your whole self being seated in the chair, or wherever you are. Try to bring your attention to what's happening this moment. Okay, gently open your eyes. And what we tried to do was learn a very basic aspect of mindfulness, which is bringing your attention to the present moment, using sounds and the sensations of your body. So when you learn this art of bringing your attention to this moment, we will be able to create that gap that is needed to break the cycle of creating these horror movies, keep ruminating, which leads into building stress. So it's very simple. Whenever there is a challenge and you feel that you are challenged and you feel that, my God, I cannot manage this, just become aware, oh, I'm feeling like this. And at that moment, try to observe what are the physical sensations that you can notice. Because those are the only real things that is happening at that moment. The rest is either imagination or a worry that is linked to past. But if you listen to the sounds and the physical sensations, and if you can deal with the physical sensations, which is real, sometimes some people feel burning sensations, sometimes some people feel sweating, pain in the neck, in the back, your mouth goes dry, or you get a terrible headache or whatever. Try to deal with that for a short while, and it will help you come to the present moment. Once you reach that composure, then you will be able to look at the situation with a fresh set of eyes. That's how we link this ability to become aware with the present moment using mindfulness. So I will stop for the time being and keep the last few minutes to take up any questions. And I've given my website here and a link on YouTube, which is a guided session. And this book is available on Amazon if you want to order it as an ebook. Right? But we will go through the 5 days and you will pick up far more. And that's what I want to cover right now. And if you have any questions, please use the Q&A option and I will respond to them. Are there any questions? So till any questions pop up, has been a link mistake. Please wait. Any questions? So basically what I tried to do was to show how mindfulness, why mindfulness we should learn to benefit from it. And I took only one aspect of our corporate challenges, that is stress. And how I benefited, I started by saying how I started discovering it and how this can be used. So the technique I shared with you today is basically listen to sounds to come to this moment and try to observe sensations to come to the present moment. And in that moment, you create that space which gives you your composure back so that you can look at situations afresh. And very importantly, the stress is built because of, not necessarily because of the challenge, but because of the movies that we create, which are horror movies. Okay, since we haven't got any questions, let me thank those who joined me and thank the learning team at AIA for facilitating that. And we will end the event today and get connected on Friday. Thank you.